and Bart Wagenke and Steve McJunkins, and this one is underway. The Akron Zips are coming in at 13-2, 2-0 in the MAC. Central Michigan 8-7. They are 1-1 in conference play. This is Jackson on the top. Robotham, he's only played 9 games because of an injury coming off an ACL last year, but they're 9-0 since he was inserted back into the lineup. Jackson takes it in, and it spins out. It's ripped down by the Chippewas. Rayson missed a little runner, and this one's pulled down by Quan Cheatham, the 6'9 junior out of Cincinnati. Akron coming in +4 on the glass this year, Coach. Number 2 in the MAC as far as total rebounds.
Well, a good rebounding team and an interesting start. Penetration both ways. Jackson at one end.
Robotham lines up a 3 and count it. That's his 21st this year.
Just got a really, really pretty stroke. And he makes a lot of threes. Obviously, Akron's making about 11 threes a game, which is 3rd in the country. So they're going to take a lot of threes tonight, as Central Michigan will at the other end.
And, Coach, that was big for Robotham because he's shooting 49% on the year, but just 25% in conference play. So slow start. How about that drive by Rayson?
Well, he can get to the rim. They switched that ball screen, so they had a 5-man defending him, and he was able to get right to the rim.
McAdams, some misfires from 3 deep in the corner, and this one's ripped down again by Chris Fowler. This one's a little shy, up over the back. Offensive rebound. Boy, I'll tell you, Luke Meyer at 6'11" barely jumped, and he got that rebound. This is Cheatham. Nice look inside. Isaiah Johnson gets his first bucket. He's averaging 11.
Well, it's a big-time interior pass by Cheatham. They came to double him. They doubled it late. Then they went big to big. Cheatham to Johnson for the easy 2.
Chippewas come in averaging about 78 points a ball game. That's a 3 if it goes. It doesn't. Jackson rips down the rebound. Little step back by Cheatham, and it's no good. And this one's taken down by Rayshawn Simmons. Very quickly, the Chippewas down court. Good penetration there. And Simmons comes in averaging 14, gets his first bucket.
Well, that's big time speed end-to-end by Simmons. Poor transition D there by Akron, but it's a great play by Simmons. It seemed like it took him about 3 seconds to go end-to-end, get right to the rim.
You know, Coach, you look at the Chippewas coming in at 8-7, 1-1. They had all 23 votes to win the West this year, unanimously. But they're just slowly getting back to health, aren't they?
Well, they really are. They've been banged up throughout the year, just starting to get healthy and kind of find a rhythm right now.
Rayson, there's penetration again, and counted, and 1.
Well, Akron really never got settled in position there defensively. Rayshawn is strong. I mean, he's a bulldog, weighs about 190 pounds, obviously quick to the rim. Not really just a 3-point shooter. He's a guy that can create contact, get into the paint, get to the rim. He's a guy that we could see at the free throw line 8, 9, 10 times tonight.
And he's a good free throw shooter, too. 81% last year, 89%, a single season record here at Central Michigan. And he cuts out the 3-point play. He's got 5. Keith Danbrought, during the shoot-around today, that's one thing he said. They have to stop penetration here.
Well, they do, and Akron is a solid defensive team, but they're better interior defense than perimeter defense. Their perimeter defense is really not the strength of their team. So that'll be interesting tonight. Can Akron contain the penetration of Central Michigan?
Last foul goes on Deron Scott, the 6'9", 230-pound sophomore out of Grand Rapids. Johnson goes by the nickname Big Dog. This is Cheatham. Cheatham backing his man down, and McAdams misfires again. Fowler, more penetration, and another foul on Akron. And this is going to go against number 2, Quan Cheatham, the 6'9" junior.
Well, it's pretty simple. It's bad transition defense. A missed three leads to penetration. Fowler gets it, takes it end to end, and he gets right to the rim. Obviously, the first thing you want to do in transition D is stop the basketball, keep the ball out of the paint. The more the ball gets into the paint, the more free throws are going to happen. Obviously, you're going to foul more. You're going to put the other team on the free throw line more, and it's just going to create a lot of problems for your team. So it starts with transition D, and it starts with stopping the basketball.
Fowler hits them both from the line. You mentioned that near triple-double he had against Bowling Green. His 8 assists, moves into 577. He cracked the top 10 in the Mid-American Conference. He's already the all-time assist king here. There's a little traveling music. The Zips come in averaging less than 12. As a head coach, how many turnovers are acceptable? About 10, 11, or anything under 10?
I think that's about the right number. I was always looking for single-digit turnovers, trying to keep turnovers to 10 or less. You get that thing up over 10. If that thing starts rising too much, it's the recipe for disaster. You're usually going to lose games.
Simmons with the kick. Simons deep in the corner, bring it up. That's a three. John Simons has started every ball game since his freshman year here.
Well, he's a big time spot up guy. You know, penetrate, kick. He's there for the open three.
And it just happens to be his 220th three. He's number 2 all time here at Central Michigan. McAdams, a catch and shoot, and that's a 2.
That's big time curl there. He's not just a three-point shooter. It's a big time curl coming off a set play. Set pin down, nice screen. McAdams off the pin down, nice shot.
During the lineups, I mentioned McAdams with 31 last year. Those were 31 off the bench. He only played 23 minutes. Fowler, 17-footer, rolls it in. So Chris Fowler now with 4.
Well, what's happening, Mike, and you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing, but Akron is switching the ball screen, which is creating a 5-man, then defending a perimeter player, and that's cost them the last 2 possessions.
Offensive rebound, brand new 30-second clock. Jackson dips inside, and Fowler's going to be charged with the foul. His success penetrating, but he said earlier today, if we have to take 43s, we'll take them. But so far, they've had luck penetrating inside. You mentioned that the 11 threes Akron hits per game. Central Michigan, 10.7. So not far behind. Forsythe, boy, tough.
Well, he is a left-handed kid. He's good inside. He's a real post presence for them inside. You know, the 2 different styles of play here. Akron is going to go more inside, back out, kind of like they did right there to Forsythe. When you watch Central Michigan offensively, really not a true post player inside. It's more penetrate, as you see here, and dish, or penetrate and kick out for the 3.
Zips want to run. Robotham kicks it out, and McAdams is alone for the 3. Ringing up and counted from McAdams. That's number 37. He leads the league with 42.
Well, that's a great one more pass there by Kretzer. One more to McAdams. McAdams, they're going to let it go quick. There is no hesitation when Akron gets it behind the arc.
And suddenly it's 14-12, Coach. That 3 ball can certainly change the complexion of a ball game, can it?
Well, it really can, and both teams really shoot the 3. It's going to be big who defends the 3 better tonight.
Boy, McAdams isn't shy as far as stepping outside and launching those 3. Fowler with a hop, skip, and a jump right to the rack, and he scores again.
Well, if I'm Akron, one thing we've got to clean up quick is dribble penetration into the paint. The more times the ball gets into the paint, the more difficult it is for us to win the game. Central Michigan, on the other hand, has done a great job of not settling, but getting the ball into the paint.
Top of the key, this one doesn't go. Taken that time by Jake Kretzer. And McAdams clears. As a former head coach, are you surprised at how easily Central Michigan has penetrated, or at least gotten the paint?
Well, a lot of it's been out of transition where Akron has just not got their defense set. Nice play there. Little screen and roll. Forsythe again with another basket. But the bottom line, if you're Akron, you've got to do a good job keeping the ball out of the paint. We'll see on this ball screen, they're switching a lot of these ball screens. They didn't switch that one. but a lot of times they are going to switch these ball screens as they just did right there.
There's a long three. Simmons comes in with just 11, shooting 26%, and he was in NBA range that time. And a really good hustle that time by John Kaczynski. Josh Kaczynski can really stroke it from outside. We'll talk more about that when Central Michigan gets on the offensive end. Forsythe gets his pocket picked. Simons. Meyer misfires. McAdams from three again. Light it up again for McAdams.
Not many twos in this game. A lot of kickouts. Central Michigan here on the prior possession looked like they had a 2 at the rim, kicked it out for the 3, and now at the other end, a big-time play there on a kick-ahead pass, advancing the ball. Again, no hesitation. McAdams pulls the trigger and makes the 3.
Coincidentally, both teams come in averaging 29 attempts from long range. Boy, Fowler's starting to really feel it. He's in a groove right now.
Well, he's a guy, Mike, as we know, that does a little bit of everything for them. A key guy, another penetrate, kick out.
Simons rips down the rebound. Chippewas want to run this time. 2-on-2. They kick it out for the 3. Bring it up. Well, Coach Kaczynski, Josh Kaczynski, that's 121 shots this year. 118 have been from long range.
Well, the scouting report, when you've never seen him play and you just look at his numbers, and I don't think he's taken a free throw all year.
No, he hasn't.
So he's all threes, no twos, no free throws. But in transition, that's easier said than done if you're Akron to find him. You've got to spot him early. Kretzer at the other end. Again, absolutely no hesitation with these guys. Kretzer's going to pull it. McAdams is going to pull it. And then you've got a bunch of guys here for Central Michigan at this end that are going to pull it with just out any hesitation at all.
Kretzer comes in shooting 46% from long range. There's a dribble drive and one for Rayshawn Simmons. So Simmons with a chance for the three-point play.
And so he has done an incredibly job turning this program and turning it very quickly.
I mentioned Providence too, 19 wins in his first year. They were picked 12th. They finished 6th in a very tough Big East, the old Big East. Kaczynski. Well, he doesn't hesitate. Robotham, we mentioned that ACL. They played a tournament in Las Vegas as he lights it up with a 3. And he wound up being on the all-tournament team, and that did wonders for his confidence.
Well, he's very confident. He has got a textbook stroke. That time he was being defended by a bigger player. And we say it all the time, but great, number one, it was a ball screen there. It was great ball screen offense, really bad ball screen defense by Akron on that possession. But Robotham is a key guy for Akron.
Meyer, the 6'11" sophomore, that's his first bucket. Johnson misfires, and this one's ripped down by Kaczynski. He might be a three-point shooter and only a three-point shooter, but he's a rebounder. That's about the 3rd rebound he's ripped down since coming off the bench. Simmons with the block.
Well, again, we've talked a lot about it. That's Simmons getting to the rim, being defended by Johnson. Johnson all of a sudden had him in transition. Simmons saw the mismatch and decided to go right by him, got right to the rim.
Outside shot doesn't go, and this one's ripped down by Rayshawn. Well, Central Michigan with great balance so far in the scoring. The little spin by Rayshawn, and Kretzer pulls it down. Good ball movement. Kretzer, that's a 2 if it goes. He kicks it out to Robotham. McAdams, Kretzer, no. Boy, I'll tell you, for 5'9", Rayshawn not shy to get in there and rebound.
Okay, Kaczynski's getting open looks. You give him too many open looks, he's going to make some of them. So they've got to do a better job locating him in transition and making sure he doesn't get open looks.
McAdams, semi-open look. That's all he needs for another three. So McAdams now with 3 threes in the ball game, and he's in double figures with 11 already.
Well, that was subtle penetration there by Robotham. Led to some gap help. All of a sudden you help in the gap. All of a sudden there's a kick. McAdams is right there, and he doesn't need any time. He gets that thing off quick.
31. Nice job by Jackson. Knocks it out of bounds. 4:27 to go here in the first half.
Nice defense there by Akron. That was a set play by Central Michigan coming out of the timeout. It was a set that Akron worked on defending today in their shoot-around. Did a great job defensively there. Then a nice rebound there by Forsyth.
Forsyth doing a nice job of altering that shot. Akron, they're perfect this year when leading at the half, but they're trailing right now. There's a foul. It's going to go against Luke Meyer.
Well, penetration leads to help. Obviously, rotation and help leads to offensive rebounds. That's what happened there. Antonio Jackson, he gets right to the rim, forcing Forsyth's man to come over to try to stop the drive. Shot goes up, hits the backboard. Next thing you know, Forsyth is right there. You can see Meyer come over for trying to get the block shot. Shot goes off the glass. Forsyth is right there to clean it up. That's why he was so open there for the attempted putback and ultimately making the free throw.
Forsyth, the preseason all-conference pick, and knocks down both from the charity stripe. And we've got a 3-point ball game inside 4 minutes.
Akron's changed their defensive game plan. They started by switching the ball screen. Now they're just hedging the ball screen and staying with it.
Boy, nice stutter step by Rayshawn. Puts it up with the left hand, and Myers there for the offensive rebound, but they can't stick it back in. And the whistle and the foul will go against the...
Year after year, 10 straight years now of 21-plus wins.
That's amazing.
It's an amazing run.
Elite company, too. Duke, Kansas, Ohio State, Gonzaga, and the Zips of Akron in that category. Forsyth puts it up with the right hand, and frustrated that he missed the shot, so he made sure he got the rebound.
Well, a great set coming out of the timeout. A little cross screen and a little skip pass on the opposite side. That's a nice set play there. And then a great interior pass by Cheatham, finished by Forsyth. And then at the other end, ball goes right inside. They had a mismatch there. Were able to get Simmons down low on a mismatch. They don't pound the ball to him a lot, but you can see Robotham is now on him. A great up fake, a great lift, and then a great finish at the rim, a chance for 2+1.
Simmons making his 110th consecutive start. He's got 5. He's a 74% shooter.
That was really nice recognition there, because Simmons is really a three-point shooter primarily a face-up guy, but they got Robotham on him, so they had about a 6-inch differential there. They pounded the ball inside.
Jackson steps outside and lights it up. That's his first field goal. It's a 3. His 31st this year.
Well, once he gets going, I'm telling you, he's got a little swagger to his game, and once he gets going, look for him to shoot it again maybe on this next possession.
All right, we'll see what happens here. Solid game against Western Michigan. 15 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And here he is. He comes right back with his second field goal.
Yeah, very, very confident young man. Keith Dambrot loves to coach him. He's an emotional kid, but he's a gym rat. Always in the gym, always working on his game. Not great defensively, and he's small, but offensively, he can score on anybody.
Luke Meyer gets inside. He's fouled. Frustrated with himself. Chance for the 3-point play, and he just didn't put enough oomph on it.
And again, it's the tail of the ball screen. Offensively for Central Michigan, a high ball screen and roll leads to this situation. Defensively, Akron did not handle the ball screen well, and which leads to the foul and leads to these free throws.
Tied up at 35. And checking back in is Josh Williams, the true freshman out of St. Vincent St. Mary, a school that Coach Dambrot used to coach back in the day when they had a player by the name of, what was his name? LeBron James, I think it was.
Pretty good player back in his day. Yeah, Keith coached him in 9th grade and 10th grade there. Keith is a longtime resident of Akron, and again, did a great job in high school, now doing an amazing job there at Akron.
I think it's neat that it's not only his alma mater, that's his hometown. McAdams looking for the kick out. Robotham goes inside to Johnson. Johnson's been relatively quiet, little drop step, nice move.
Well, you've got a decision to make if you're Central Michigan, and we've seen it all half. Do you single him or do you double him? They've been singling him, just one defender, sometimes coming late with a second defender. Right there, it was Johnson versus Meyer. Just one post defender, and Johnson made him pay on that possession.
Simmons, and it's deflected, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Akron. So it stays with Central Michigan with 10 on the shot clock. Simmons led the nation's forwards last year at 71%, 45% from long range. Fowler, 16 feet, and taken away beautifully by Simmons, and gets the bucket.
Great play there by Simmons, a real heads-up play to kind of get that loose ball and then get right to the rim and make that play. That's a big, big play close to the end of the half.
Cheatham gives it up, and the big guy gets the roll and the foul. So Johnson, big dog, going to the line with a chance for the three-point play.
They want more out of Cheatham, and talking to Keith Dambrot, Cheatham is a guy that's a hard matchup because you come out and pressure him. He's got that ability to go by you, number one. Number two, then to deliver the pass, and you're delivering the ball to a guy inside who's big. I mean, they list him at 295, but that's being generous, Mike. I think he's a little bit more than that. But Cheatham is a guy that could be really big for this Akron team because he's a face-up post guy that can go by you. He's a tough guy to guard.
45 seconds. Zips, we mentioned they're 12-0 this year. When they had the lead at halftime, they're up by 2 right now. Fowler, and Jackson pulls it down.
Great defense there by Fowler, keeping the ball out of the paint.
There's an open look for a three. Decides to go off the dribble instead, and they're going to call the charge on Josh Williams.
Well, Simon's right there. He kind of smelled that out, saw it coming. Bad offensive play by a guy that Akron is really high on, got a chance to be a real good player. That was a kind of a bang-bang quick call. Could have gone either way, but a smart, heady play there by Simons again late in this half.
Ten seconds in the first half. Zips by 2. Simmons, backdoor, alley-oop, and the flush for Stewart.
Well, big-time offense on the back cut, lob, and dunk for Akron in this game.
Yeah, Akron had lost 6 straight to Buffalo. They knocked them off this year already. Jackson, 16.7 assists, no turnovers in 33 minutes. So that's how important he is for the Zip basketball team. Chippewas get the rejection on the big guy. The Chips come in averaging less than 3 blocks, not a big blocking team.
And that was Cheatham again. Cheatham is a heck of a passer inside. So you've got a nice 1-2 inside punch there with Cheatham at the 4, Isaiah Johnson at the 5.
There's Kretzer with 5. Robotham, little step back with 2 on the clock, and it's an air ball. Didn't draw iron. Last touched anyway by the Zips. And the Chippewas will have possession and the lead by 2.
Great defense there, Mike, by Simmons, guarding Robotham in the left corner there. Number 1, Robotham tried to go by him off the bounce. Simmons said, no, I'm not going to let you in. And then Robotham takes the 3. Great challenge of the shot with the big high hand by Simmons.
Nice look inside. Meyer. Boy, a line drive hook shot doesn't go. Not enough finesse on that shot. Robotham, deep three. And good positioning. Simmons with the box out. Chippewas want to run. Fowler fights his way through the defense and finally gets it out. Dribble drive on the 5'9" guard. And there's a foul by Luke Meyer.
Rayshawn looking for the call. Officials have been very consistent the entire game. Very few fouls have been called in this game. First half, only 12 combined total fouls called. Rayshawn with penetration there, looking for the bump, looking to get hit. Some officials make that call, some officials don't. But as a player, you've got to recognize which it is and make sure you react accordingly.
There's a flush by Cheatham, so he answers with his first bucket of the ball game. And we're tied up at 42 again. Mentioned Central Michigan losing 8 straight, but a good ball game last year, 82-76. Fowler had 26 in that game. Simmons lines up a 3, a little shy, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be Akron basketball. Running the point with Jackson out. McAdams, he had 3 threes in the first half. Little backdoor cut. Couldn't find the handle. Good execution, just couldn't finish it off.
Yeah, it was great execution off the set call. Back screen, no bump of the cutter. At this end, Central Michigan's in. Fowler, nice penetration, very unselfish player. He's a guy that just, he scores, he rebounds, he gets assists. Plus, he's an incredible young man off the court as well. So he's got the whole package. He's the program guy that's really been the face of this program since Keno Davis has been here. But great penetration there by Fowler, leading to the basket inside.
Fowler with 16 points a game last year, led the team, led the league with 6 assists a game. Missing the first 7 games of the season because of an injury. In conference play, Fowler's back at 6 assists again. Johnson, a little bit too easy.
I'm not sure how you stop that. That's not easy to stop. Number one, it's penetration by Robotham, forcing help from a big. Once the big comes over to help, you lob the ball to the rim, and that's where Johnson is waiting for the ball.
Fowler, nice crossover, and the drive, he scores. Double figures now with 10.
Well, we've talked about it all game. They switch. Leads to Johnson on a smaller player. They go right by Johnson, get all the way to the rim.
There's a reach on Robotham.
If you look at that last play, you see there's a switch on the ball screen. And now Fowler sees he's on being defended by a bigger man in Johnson, so he gets right inside him, gets right to the paint. Great finish at the rim.
Big dog Johnson going back out to catch a breather. He's got 9 in the ball game. Twice already named the MAC East Player of the Week.
As a dribbler, Mike, you've got to recognize how are they defending the ball screen and then react accordingly. If a bigger man switches to you, obviously, if you're a smart player and you've got that dribble game, you've got the ability to get the ball by that bigger defender and get into the paint.
A step back by McAdams, and we're tied up at 46 again. So McAdams, his first bucket of the second half, but he's got 13. Remember, we said he had 31 last year off the bench. Boy, he was hot. 10 of 13, 6 of 9 from 3.
Not a guy that makes a lot of twos. He's really more behind the arc. But that time he was able to get into kind of that mid-range area and make that shot.
Rayshawn with the kick. Down to 5 on the shot clock now for the Chips. Fowler. Penetration. Keno Davis saying that they beat Buffalo twice last year. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it the trifecta. That kept them out of the NCAA tournament. Cheatham kicks it back to Forsythe. Forsythe with a right hand drops it in. He's got 10.
Well, we've talked about it. Number one, it's good play by Forsythe getting the ball in the basket, but the great play was made by Cheatham, who's that tough. That's a set call out of the timeout. That's an isolation elbow set for Cheatham. Number one, he can get by you. He's tough to stay in front of, but then he's got the ability to pass the ball.
Simon's not getting too many looks against this defense of Akron. Central Michigan, at least 10 threes, 8 of the last 9 games, 5, and this one's rejected. And it's finally picked up by Forsythe.
Well, great defense there following the scouting report. Simmons is not a three-point shooter. He's more of a driver. Forsythe and Akron did a great job at the other end, kind of gapping him and backing off him to not allow the penetration, kind of tease him a little bit and see if he wanted to pull the trigger from behind the arc, which he didn't. But that's called good recognition. That's called following the scouting report. We saw the shoot-arounds this morning, and that was something they discussed heavily, Keith Dambrot and his staff, who to pressure, who can make the three, and then who are more drivers. They talked about Simmons being more of a driver and kind of backing off him a little bit. Really smart recognition there by the Akron defense.
The official timeout there for Jake Kretzer. Looks like he got hit in the sternum. Kretzer, the percentage-wise leading three-point shooter. Good sign here, number 55. Jackson back on the floor for the Zips after leaving the ball game. Cheatham steps outside, and Fowler gets the rebound. Simmons with the drive.
That's what he is. We just talked about it, but he's a driver, not a great three-point shooter.
Oh. Got to give it to McAdams, I guess, huh? Unless Cheatham gets the bucket.
That's a big-time offensive rebound coming off the three attempt by Jackson. Jackson comes right down, takes the quick three. Big-time putback there on the offensive end by Akron.
I think they gave the bucket to Quan Cheatham. That's his second bucket here in the second half. Fowler rejected, but he draws the foul, and he's going back to the line, this time shooting 2.
You've got two guys on the floor, Mike, for Central Michigan that absolutely just put their left shoulder down and they go by you. Simmons and Fowler are two drivers. And defensively, you've got to get down and try and slide your feet, move your feet, try to stay in front of them as best you can. If the ball gets around you and gets by you, it's going to create foul trouble, which is what happened there, and now it's going to put Central Michigan on the line.
You mentioned Fowler being the face of the program. How about a 4-year captain? How do you become a captain as a freshman? That's amazing.
Well, obviously they recognized his leadership ability early, but he's a guy that on the floor, it's obvious. He's almost a triple-double guy potentially every night. He can do a lot of different things. Off the floor, they tell me he's incredible in the community, goes to schools, reads to kids, does so many different things in this program. He's a great student, majoring in theater, and just a great young man.
Preseason co-player of the year in the Mid-American Conference with the steal. And the Zips get it right back. Kaczynski outraces Jackson, and it's going to be Central Michigan ball. Jackson thought Kaczynski touched the glass. So did Keith Danbro, apparently. You know, you talk about Fowler being the all-time assist king here with that steal. He takes over the number 5 spot all-time at Central Michigan. With 163, could possibly climb up to number 2. We passed Dan Marley, who had a pretty good career here. Dan Marley, of course, former Phoenix Suns, and now a head coach at Grand Canyon. Wow.
Big time move. Getting to the paint, spinning back, finishing it at the rim. He's only 6'1", but he's got that ability when he gets to the paint to finish and make the play. Big time play there by Fowler.
Kretzer's back on the floor, shoots the air ball. McAdams, a little too strong. The long rebound by Fowler, and Jackson's going to pick up the foul.
Fowler's everywhere right now. Again, we've talked a lot about him. He's a guy that does a lot of things. Big time penetration, cut off there by Jackson. So he says, well, instead of straight line driving you, I'm going to spin back the other way. and then he's got that ability to finish. Again, whatever Fowler does on the floor, which is great, again, what we hear from everybody around here, he's a better young man off the floor than he is as a player on the floor, which says a lot because he's a really good player.
Jackson goes out with his third foul.
You've got an interesting lineup, though, right now, Mike, as we've talked about. You've got Fowler and Simmons. You see the three perimeter players here right in front of us, but Simmons and Fowler are going to drive. And then you've got Kaczynski, who's the leading three-point shooter in the MAC. So an interesting perimeter team right now for Central Michigan.
And Tino Jackson left the ball game with an injury. Now he leaves with 3 fouls, and we still have 12.5 minutes to go before they put this one in the books. Can Akron make it 9 straight over the Chippewas? Mentioned the Chippewas had a 10-game home winning streak snapped against Eastern Michigan, so Eastern Michigan must be decent this year.
Well, a lot of good teams, as we've talked about. A lot of parity, a lot of good teams in this league. You got a mismatch here, Simmons on Johnson.
There's ball fake. Simmons, 16 feet, left it shy. Shot was altered a little bit. Jamon Ivey now, the sophomore, gives it to Rebotham and ringing up. It's a 3. So he's got 3 threes in the ball game. We mentioned shooting 25% in conference play. I think he's found his rhythm again.
Well, transition threes are hard to defend. You've got to locate guys that can really shoot. Rebotham really feels it tonight. He's got good rhythm. He's got a pure stroke. Plus, he's got deep range.
Chippewas by 1. Johnson almost picks the pocket. Fowler somehow regains control. Stewart with 3. Triple team. At least he got the shot off. Nice look. Kretzer all alone. Well, Akron's cooled off a little bit from long range after shooting
8 baskets tonight, and that starting group has 19 of the 21. So tremendous experience, a lot of different types of players in that group, some inside, some outside, some drivers, some shooters, but a lot of versatility with that starting lineup.
Simmons looking for an open spot. Kaczynski won't hesitate with that, and that's why. Lights it up, his second 3 of the ball game. He's got 44 now to lead the league.
Well, you just can't help much off him. You've got to be solid defensively from a team standpoint, but on him, you've got to be much more man-oriented, or he's going to burn you like that. Penetration, a little subtle penetration leading to the kick, and he's got that quick trigger on the 3. Speaking of quick trigger, here's McAdams again.
Nice answer. He's got 16. He's got 4 threes in the ball game now for the Akron Zips, and it's back to 1 at 57-56. Kaczynski might have hurried that one a little bit, Coach.
Well, a little bit. It was a containing 1% this year, so he's a big-time free throw shooter for Central Michigan.
Coming off a 27-point game against Bowling Green, he's got 15 now in the ball game for Central Michigan. Forsythe, a little bit too strong with the left hand. Last touched by, well, Forsythe thought the Chippewas touched it. The officials didn't see it that way. So Central Michigan now with a largest lead in the ball game at 66-58 with the ball. Fowler off the dribble. Wisely kicks it back out. Plenty of time. Still 11 on the shot clock. Fowler. Simons. Rayson lines up a 3. Offensive rebound. Deron Scott. Rayson at 5'9" takes it right back to the rack.
I'll tell you, Deron Scott is all over the glass. 2 offensive rebounds on that one possession. He is athletic, strong, got a lot of bounce, and really helped them out. They didn't score on that possession, but he was instrumental in getting them at least one more shot.
There's a deep 3, and this one goes for Williams. That's Josh Williams, the freshman.
Well, they think he's got a chance. Again, talking to Keith Dambrot, he just needs minutes and experience, playing behind a lot of good players right now, but he's got a chance to be a heck of a player. Central Michigan have scored too many points. So perimeter D has again been kind of a bugaboo. It's been suspect for Akron to this point in the game.
You mentioned the 11 threes they average Central Michigan. How about the keys to the game for Central Michigan?
Well, make threes, defend threes. Honestly, they haven't done either one of those great. They're not to their average in made threes, and defensively, again, Akron's made 10 threes on the game. So neither one of those things, but what they've done is their three perimeter players have really played well. Fowler and Rayshawn and Simmons have all played really well. They've got some other good play by some other guys, but their three perimeter players, as always, they seem to be pretty good every game, but they have been really dominant in this game, and that's why Central Michigan has got a 7-point lead right now with just 6 minutes to play.
That's a good point. They're doing it without the threes. They only have 5. McAdams, a catch and shoot. McAdams has 5 threes himself. So he's got 19 points in the ball game.
Well, it's big time shot by McAdams.
First place votes. So Fowler now takes it up the court. He's got 18 points in the ball game.
Well, they get a switch coming off that ball screen. Now you've got Cheatham trying to guard Fowler, and now this is not a great matchup either right here on top.
Simmons reverses. Meyer outside. Doesn't go, and this is going to be a foul on. Goes against Rayshawn Simmons. Simmons actually thought that McAdams held him off with the forearm. But Simmons is charged with the foul. That's going to be his second. Well, Keno Davis, we talked about the fact they only had 5 threes. They had 17 on the road at BYU. They had 20 in a game last year. That's phenomenal. That's pretty good shooting. What makes Akron so good defending the three?
Well, a lot of things. Number one, they work on it. High challenge on the shot. They really get out and close out aggressively. And then they get a high hand up on most attempted threes. And their rotation is good. I spent one day at their practice watching them practice, and they spend a lot of time on the defensive end, working on closeouts, working on challenges, working on rotating out to threes. So they like to work on the three-point shot as well, but they spend a lot of time on the defensive end, and that's why they're a very good, one of the better defensive teams in the MAC.
Giving up only 24% from long range. That's number 1 in the country. McAdams gets charged with the foul. That's his second. Meyer goes to the line. Averaging 8, he has 10 in the ball game, including a couple of stick-back slam dunks on the offensive glass. And Meyer misfires.
Late game situation, 5 minutes to play. If Central Michigan's going to get this win, one thing you've got to do, you've got to make free throws.
And you got to try to stop the big guy in there, huh?
Well, it's the big decision. Again, do you double or do you just go one-on-one with him? The ball goes into Johnson. They single post defend him with Meyer, and he just bulldogs right through him. A nice little spin move. Gets right to the rim. If you double, now you may give up the 3. If you single, that's what happens there. Great pass there. Again, Rayshawn getting in too deep. Perimeter players get in too deep. If you're the defensive team, if the other team gets in too deep, it's going to create problems.
As we approach the 4-minute mark now.
Do you single or do you double?
Big Dog loses the rock. Simmons comes up with the ball. So Central Michigan now,
if you're Akron, number 1, you've already been on the road. You beat Buffalo on the road in a tight game. You beat Marshall on the road. You beat Arkansas on the road. So, and they've won 10 games in a row. So they've got a veteran team, a lot of leadership on the team. So they definitely will not panic. You've still got to execute, though, down the stretch. On the other side for Central Michigan, they're putting the ball in their perimeter guys' hands, Rayshawn, Simmons, and Fowler, and letting them go make plays.
1 of 2 at the line that time. Chippewa's 14 of 17 from the stripe so far tonight. There's a reach, and this one's going against Fowler. He knew it as soon as he heard that whistle. So Fowler picks up his 3rd foul.
Jackson returns for the Zips.
They're trying to get the ball inside here, I think, to Johnson. So they'll probably play inside out to Johnson here once they get the ball to McAdams. Here it goes.
Meyer at 6'11", Johnson at 295. Johnson rejected. Now he's fouled. That's going to be foul 4 on Fowler with 3:23 to go.
Well, again, that's smart coaching. Keith Dambrot calling the set, getting the ball inside to Johnson, knowing he's going to be defended one-on-one without the double. If they decide to double, then he's going to kick out for the 3. But with Meyer on him, Keno Davis, I guess, feels that Meyer, with his length and with his size, can deal with him one-on-one. Johnson is an average free throw shooter, not a great free throw shooter, but it would sure help their cause if he can make 1 out of 2 here.
You know, Murray, he came in with only 17 attempts from the stripe. 6'10", 295. You would think you'd have more free throw attempts.
Well, you would. That's 4 critical missed free throws here in the last couple minutes by Akron. Still just 5 down, so still right in the middle of this. This possession, they've got to keep the ball out of the paint.
Simmons, nice crossover and the bucket. So Simmons now with 14.
Well, it's been the story of the games. Johnson is defending Simmons. Simmons sees it, jukes him, gets around him, gets by him, gets right to the rim for a big 2. It's hard to keep him out of the paint, especially with a bigger defender.
Kretzer comes right back, misfires, and there's McAdams. Well, they're going hard after the rebound with the triple ice. They've got some numbers now. The 5'9" Rayson takes it in, and they're going to call the foul on Akron, so it's going to be a chance for a 3-point play for Rayson.
What do you do there defensively if you're trying to get back and keep him from the rim? I tell you, he's like a freight train coming at you. He is 5'9", 190 pounds.
Coming at you.
And coming at you, fast, speed, great finisher around the rim. He's got the whole package offensively, he really does. He can make threes, he's a bulldog, plus he's a great free throw shooter, which is so critical for a good guard to be a great free throw shooter, especially in late game situations when you can put the ball in his hands.
Zips down by 10, Jackson. Offensive stick back doesn't go, and there's Rayson at 5'9" with the rebound, and Meyer with the flush.
Wow, great pass by Rayson on the kick ahead. Meyer's going to be something when we look up a year from now, if he continues to work. A kid that's 6'11" and can move and eyes his length, and you don't see many guys his size that can run up and down the floor like he can.
Well, he's only a sophomore, so we got 2 more years after this one for Keno. McAdams makes 2 out of 3 from the stripe. Inside 2 minutes now. 10-point lead for Central Michigan. And uncontested layup. Fowler with 20.
Well, they spread you out. Fowler gets to the rim.
And just as easy, Robotham comes back, moves into double figures with his layup. Well, Central Michigan not hitting as many threes.
A lot of good coaches, a lot of good players in this league.
There's the foul. Chippewa's going back to the line. Yeah, Eastern Michigan's Raven Lee had 32 points in that win. He was 10 of 13 shooting. James Thompson had his 9th double-double. So I guess when you shoot 66%, 65% from 3, I guess you're gonna win some games. But Keno Davis, even in the loss, had 5 in double figures. So you're right, this team really plays well together. And Simmons talking about Keno Davis, when he took the job, had to get out in April and recruit. He was looking at 4 or 5 kids a day. And he said Simmons, he looked at him, the 6'4" backcourt player, and he didn't offer. So Simmons went to junior college. Keno Davis continued to follow him. And here he is now with 16 points in this ball game. So, and he's one of the co-captains as well.
He's another one of those guys for Central Michigan that just does a little bit of everything. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's a big-time driver. He's a great passer. He can rebound the ball. He can defend. So he does a lot of little things that are obviously going to help you win. He doesn't make a lot of threes, but he does everything else really well.
Yeah, Simmons opened up the season with a 30-point ball game. Fowler goes out. So Fowler ends with a 20-point performance.
Well, the big shock to me coming in, and I've seen Akron play. Again, I had their game at Buffalo. The thing that really jumps out at me is Central Michigan's got 90 points. Because Akron defensively, when you look statistically at their numbers, defense overall, defending the three, they've really statistically got pretty darn good defensive numbers. That tells you a little bit about Central Michigan being able to go to 90, go for 90 to this point in the game.
Botham has been racking up the points here on those drives here in the second half.
Probably the last time you'll see Akron foul. I'd say they'll push it down this next time, get a basket, then down as much as they are. I like Keith Dambrot, and I like his focus on what he's done to this point. You continue to play it out all the way to the buzzer, but now it's to a point where you probably see it's kind of gotten away from you. So I'm sure they'll push it down, then probably won't foul anymore. I tell you, if Central Michigan holds on, this is a heck of a win for them. Again, Keno Davis, very impressive shoot around this morning. Well-run shoot around with his staff. They were really, really focused, obviously, coming into this game, and they've got some real firepower offensively.
Botham again with the drive. He had 6 at halftime. He's got 19 now in the ball game, but too little, too late. So final 10 seconds coming up here. 92-81. Chippewas will take the air out of the ball here, and they're back in the win column at home. That Bowling Green victory was their first on the road. It's going to go in the books as a